return to Delmas and Red Star Raceway for our final episode of the season, and we have an action-packed program in store for you. History in Motion is proudly brought to you by Midas Sport, Gumtree, Mitsubishi Electric and their associate sponsors. Jeff Gable talks us through the very big Turn 11 of Red Star Raceway.
So we're here at Turn 11 at Red Star Raceway, absolutely critical corner. You come after a series of short, tight bends, a little bit complicated. It opens up into a faster section, so we're here in fourth gear for most of it, slipping down into third in something that corners very, very quickly like a Formula Ford, maybe a second gear quarter in Lotus Challenge, arriving about 160 kilometers an hour and then entering into the next phase. This is the second phase of the corner. You've already hard on the brakes from fourth gear and down into third or into second. Following the line of the corner, just waiting to turn in. The concrete seems to go forever, but as you look through the corner, you still can't see the marshal's post. Very tricky corner. So we're now about 20 or 30 meters past the very late turn-in point. We still can't see the exit, but you're starting to apply the throttle, starting to push hard. It's such a critical exit to this corner, and only now can we start to see the apex, the little bit where the grass is missing. Finally here at corner exit, you can see just how far away the start of the corner was. I hadn't even appreciated the distance before I walked the track just now. From the corner apex here to the exit, you can see the straight just goes off to the distance, almost to the horizon. And that's why corner 11 here at Red Star Raceway is so critical. Every kilometer an hour you miss at apex, every kilometer an hour you miss here at exit is a kilometer an hour you give to your competitors the entire length of the straight. It's going to be fantastic racing here. I imagine there's going to be lots of drafting, lots of passing at the end, all set up here, corner 11 at Red Star.
The InvestChem Formula Fords are ready to take to the track, but first we caught up with Matt Nash to get the lowdown on how to adjust the gear ratios of the Formula Fords for a new track.
Every time we go to a new racetrack with a Formula Ford, you need to work out the gear ratios. The gear ratios are very important to get the absolute maximum out of the car, maximum acceleration in second gear, and you also need to make sure that at the end of the long straights the car isn't revving out and you risk destroying the engine and running out of power. So what we do is we change the gear ratios to suit virtually all the corners and the straights. There's always a happy medium. Obviously when we arrive at a place like Red Star, we don't really know what ratios to put in, so we just guess and then change them from there, which we're going to do now. You strip all the rear covers off and rear nuts off, and then you take the gearbox out the back of the car like this, which is at 100 million degrees now. Okay. And you put it in a tray very carefully so that you'll be able to remember how to rebuild it again just now. Okay, so there's the puzzle. Here's the gears we're going to be putting in, and here are the gears that we're taking out. We're going to change second, third, and fourth because we're not happy with any of them. Okay, so we remove the existing gears out of here. Then what we do is we just clean all the gears and all the bearings and everything with a little bit of petrol, which helps to get all the swarf and bits and pieces that the gearbox has picked up. These gearboxes make a lot of little metal filings because it's a dog-type gearbox, which means it doesn't have synchro rings. The drivers basically just smash it from gear to gear. These gearboxes don't have filters, so you also replace the gearbox oil every single time you do like this, which is just a basic ratio change. Just take a paintbrush and just give everything a nice rinse here, which also just cools it down a little bit. We're going to change fourth gear because the drivers are not happy with the fourth gear that we've put in. So effectively what was happening is the gear was too long, so the car was going to go too quickly in that gear. So ideally at the end of the straight, we want our cars to be revving somewhere around 6,800 RPM. It was only revving 6,000 RPM. So we're not getting the acceleration we need to the end of the straight. So what we do is we change a gear pair. This is a gear pair here, so we're going to change for an effectively shorter gear pair. We're going to swap this one for this one. This is called a dog ring. This is what selects the gears. Okay, so we always have one dog ring per 2 gears, like we have here. Each gear has its own bearing, and this is the start of our Christmas tree here. Put the gears into the casing like that. This shaft is slightly more difficult than that one because there's a lot of pieces that you can mix up. As long as you concentrate a little bit, you'll be fine. There we go, that's it now ready to go. We've got our 2 Christmas trees there. And now we'll slide it back into the car again. So we just grab the whole assembly like this, slide it in, put the bearing in. Now we've slid the whole cassette of gears in. We assemble the rear section here and put all the rear nuts on. Put the split pins in so that the nuts can't come loose. And that's a ratio change done.
Hopefully all the cars have worked out the best ratio for them as they take to the grid for race 1 of the InvestChem Formula Fords. The newly crowned champion Andrew Horn is on pole position with Graham Hepburn alongside him. Ian Schofield slots in behind them in third. On the warm-up lap, and there are problems already for David Jeremy with throttle linkage issues forcing him to retire. The rest of the field take up their positions on the grid and wait for the start. The lights are off and they're away. Not the best start for Jonathan Nash. Problems with the kill switch and most of the field stream past him. He's going to have an interesting time working his way up the field again. Into turn 2, and Graham Hepburn has managed to move into the lead ahead of Andrew Horn. Ian Schofield and Matthijs Strydom are not far behind the pair, with Ben van der Westhuizen and Dean Venter hot on their heels. Nose to tail, the train make their way through the left-hander of turn 3. Coming through turn 11, and Matthijs Strydom has a look down the inside of Dean Venter, but Venter exits well and stays out front for now. Getting a bit of a tow down the long back straight, and Strydom pulls out alongside Venter, having a look down the inside as they approach turn 12. Side by side, the green Talon and blue Miguel run. The Talon of Strydom taking the position through the corner. Further back, Alan Meyer has a great seat as Matt Nash makes his move on Ben van der Westhuizen. Nash slides down the inside and moves ahead of van der Westhuizen. Coming under the bridge, and Graham Hepburn is coming under some pressure from Andrew Horn, who has a look down the inside but falls back as they approach turn 1. Rex Tweedy in his red Swift has Donny Lamola lined up for a pass. Coming into turn 4, he takes the inside line and moves ahead of the Miguel SJ. Coming through turn 3, and van der Westhuizen runs wide on the exit. This could cost him. He recovers back onto the track, and it looks like he has got away with it as Meyer, Nash, and Nash are not close enough to capitalize on this error. Jonathan Nash in his black Swift is pushing hard, but up ahead it's Alan Meyer in his orange Van Diemen who is putting the pressure on Ben van der Westhuizen. Exiting turn 5 and onto the short straight between turn 5 and 6, and Alan Meyer moves ahead of the yellow Royale RP21. He gets the power down and holds the advantage down the straight. Ben van der Westhuizen is under attack again, this time from Jonathan Nash, who is working his way up the order after a slow start. Into turn 12, and Nash now has Meyer in his sights, with brother Matt closing in on van der Westhuizen. Alan Meyer leads Nash and van der Westhuizen into turn 9. Through the long, sweeping right-hander, and Jonathan Nash makes his move down the inside of Alan Meyer and takes the position as they go through turn 10 and onto turn 11 and the long back straight. There's nothing in it between the lead pair, with Graham Hepburn narrowly ahead of Andrew Horn as they make their way through turn 2 and 3. Both drivers pushing as hard as they dare on this twisty track. On the long back straight, and Hepburn makes a mistake. He misses a gear, and this gives Horn the chance he has been waiting for as he moves ahead and into the lead of the race. Hepburn very frustrated with himself. Hepburn's error has allowed Ian Schofield to close in on him as well, so his focus will have to return. Coming into turn 3, and Steve Venter gets it a bit sideways as he makes his move round the corner. Round the final corner and onto the start-finish straight come the lead pair of Andrew Horn and Graham Hepburn. Horn taking the victory by just 0.6 of a second from Hepburn. In the battle for 7th position, Alan Meyer leads Matt Nash under the bridge and over the line. Meyer finishing 0.8 of a second ahead of Nash at the flag. Ian Schofield came home in 3rd place and Matthijs Strydom took 4th. Jonathan Nash eventually working his way up to 6th position after his disastrous start.
Only got an opportunity to race this morning, so I kind of hopped in for qualifying. The car was despicable. We managed to sort some of the bits and pieces out. I've kind of learnt the circuit, but I was learning as I was going along, following the other guys. So it was a very good race. Had a nice ding-dong with Ben initially. So he taught me all of his lines, and then I was quicker than him and managed to get away. Then I fell off, had to pass him again, and we had a good ding-dong with Alan. And then my brother came, and we all just had a sort of absolute four-way, falling off everywhere, making mistakes, trying to learn the circuit race. So it was really, really, really fun. This place is awesome.
Well, it helped a lot with a good start, so I got a jump on them. So the first 2 laps it clear, and I saw them coming, and I decided to keep them behind me for a while, but they were wild and all over me. Eventually overtook me, but then they made mistakes and I got back ahead. But at the end, they managed to get the better of me and beat me.
Okay, I got into the lead down to the first corner. I held it off for Andrew off for a few laps, and then he got past me down the back straight, and I chased him down, but yeah, I managed to hold on to second, and well done to Andrew, who got the win.
Well, it was a really, really, really good race. Graham's just a great guy to race with, and around this track you've got to concentrate all the time. It's just so busy to stay with somebody's hard work around here.
It's not David Jermy's day as problems on the warm-up lap again prevent him from taking the start. His frustration is clear. The rest of the field are lined up on the grid, Stratum rolling forward slightly before the lights go out. This time it's Paul Sutter-Horn who bogs down on the start with a possible blockage in the car from the dust, and the field stream past him. Hopefully he'll get his problem solved and begin his fight back. Into turn one, the rest of the field stream jostling for position as they get settled into the race. Steve Venter running wide, loses a position and slots in ahead of Donny Lamola. Through the twists, Graham Hepburn leads the field. The four-way battle of Nash, Meyer, Van der Westhuizen and Nash resuming from race one. Jonathan Nash has got the power down and closed in on Dean Venter as they make their way through turn one. Nash is the quicker inside line and moves ahead of Venter. Venter, not one to let someone drive away from him, will keep the pressure on Nash as they head for turn two. Graham Hepburn still leads Montez Stratum, with Ian Schofield sitting comfortably in third. Then it's Nash, Venter and Meyer nose to tail. Andrew Horn is driving as best as he can, trying to work his way up the order, passing Rex Tweedy and moving up a position. Dean Venter carrying some speed along the short inside straight to turn 6, moves alongside Jonathan Nash. And through the corner, he makes his move. Nash will keep the pressure on Venter and the battle will continue. Steve Venter leads Donny Lamola into turn 3. Lamola having a bit of a spin, but she will get herself going again. Ben van der Westhuizen leads Matt Nash down the start-finish straight, while Andrew Horn comes up to pass the pair as he works his way back up the order. Successfully past Nash, he now has van der Westhuizen in his sights. Powering down to turn 2, and Horn sets up the inside line on van der Westhuizen. Through they go, and Horn takes the position. Graham Hepburn looks to have a comfortable lead over Montez Stratum as they make their way round turn 11. Running a little wide on the exit, but no problems there. But Hepburn has gear problems again, and this will give Stratum a chance to strike. Clearly frustrated, Hepburn can only watch as Stratum sails past him and into the lead. On board now with Alan Meyer as Andrew Horn goes past and makes up another position. Jonathan Nash is pushing hard as he has Dean Venter breathing down his neck. Perhaps a little too hard as he runs wide on the exit. Venter also running wide, but not as far, and he recovers quickly and is able to maintain more speed than Nash as he makes his way past the Black Swift. The battle for the lead is a close run thing as Graham Hepburn is looking for a way past Stratum after losing out after some gear problems. Onto the start-finish straight, and Stratum leads the way. Hepburn gave it all he could, but there were not enough laps left for him to fight a way past Stratum, and the Sage Talon takes the victory. Further back, and Rex Tweedy has managed to stay ahead of Donny Lamola, who lost some time with a spin. Despite crossing the line first, Montez Stratum was given a 30-second time penalty for a jump start, so the win was handed to Graham Hepburn, with Ian Schofield coming in second. Dean Venter managed to stay ahead of Jonathan Nash by 0.3 of a second.
I wanted to get the points to finish second in the championship to Andrew, and I achieved that today. So I had to be a little bit cautious. I'd love to have mixed it with these guys. We've had fallen off and Mateus had won, then I'd made a real fool of myself.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, to win a race like that was quite emotional for me. And yeah, it was hard racing. These guys were pushing me quite hard. So yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my sponsors, Sage ERP Africa and Suzuki Bramley, for their support, and my dad for all the years of support that he's given me. I'm hanging up the helmet as of next year, so yes, that was my last race, and what a way to actually end it off.
Andrew was on pole, he bogged on the start, so I got away and Mateus chased me. Ian was behind. I missed the gear again and Mateus got past me, and then I chased Mateus down and I developed a bit of a miss, so it was fun and games towards the end, but yeah, all round good day.
Join us after the break for action from the SKF Pre-66 Legend production cars and Little Giants.